Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Coach Evans of More. I'm sorry, Sip the Tally Films. You can tell I just finished working on a video of More Sip the Tally, so it's still on my brain. But this is the first of a series that I'm going to try to keep going up until draft time because we know we have this lull in content that I want to just get to know other content creators. And so the very first guy I thought of when this came about. Matter of fact, I told him the story off camera. I'll tell it to you. We were watching one of his videos and he impersonated, I think it's Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter. And when I tell you, I watched that video and my wife asked me what I was laughing at, and I showed her, I laughed at that video probably for 30 minutes. And it was extremely funny. And so at that point, I really reached out to him and asked him would he come on, and he said yes. So everybody already knows who I'm talking about because you've seen the thumbnail. So we want to bring in Nitro. What up, Nitro?
How you doing, sir? How you doing?
What inspired that little sketch?
Listen, it's all kind of on the dime. I was shopping and I had bought some hats for outside because we're in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I bought it and I was just thinking about some things and I was like, you know what? I'll put it on for today. And it just kind of manifested itself. I had a lot of fun doing it.
Cool. So what we're gonna do is I got a few questions here and we're gonna start off with that.
Yes,
and what made you start the YouTube channel? Because I know I would see you on Twitter and in some spaces.
Yeah.
And what made you start the YouTube channel?
I love sports. That's first and foremost. But I think it was everybody else kind of around me telling me like, you need to go and do this. My wife kind of beat me over there saying, do it. IvanEvans, so many people just backing it up saying, hey,
shout out to
Nitro. Yeah, shout out to IvanEvans and telling me like, look, man, you're doing this for free on Twitter. Go start a channel. You got something. There's something about you. So I was like, okay, no problem. I'm gonna try it out. And I just went to do it. Sometimes you just gotta bite the bullet and try it out. And it's been working so far. So I've been blessed.
And with me, it's mine kind of happened that same way too, because I was kind of scared, but not scared, but I didn't like to hear my voice. I didn't like to see myself on camera. But I wanted a platform to just talk. And my stuff evolved from just a verbal, like the traditional podcast, to this. And so I still want to, shout out the dude that started me. And that was kind of Vosh Lombardi. Well, my wife too, but Vosh Lombardi was kind of like, do this. And he showed me how to do this and showed me how to do that. And what he said something to me that I really respect, because a lot of other people try to get with him and get him to help them. He's like, Coach, with you, I could tell you one thing, and I know you're not going to ask me that no more, because you're going to go make it happen however you want to do it. I was like, well, you already know me. And for those that don't know, Vosh played for me when he was in high school. So that kind of helped out also. Second question. Your channel name. Pronounce it for everybody out there, and then tell us what it means and where it came from.
It's pronounced Wonderkind with a D, Wonderkind. And it means somebody that's achieved great success at a young age. Pretty much the synonyms of it are genius, wizard, stuff like that. So it was kind of like a word that just stood out. And if you do you watch The Office?
I've watched episodes of it.
Okay, so there's an episode where one of the characters leaves the office to go work somewhere else. It's like a higher up job that controls like the hires for the office itself. And he's sitting there and he's just like, people are calling me young, successful, basically a wonderkind. So when I was reading one day and I saw it and I watched, I was like, bro, I like this word. So it just, one thing led to the other. I said, we're going to run with it. It is very distinguishable.
And like I told him off camera, I've been wondering where he got it from and what did it mean, but I never looked it up. And I'm glad I didn't, because it was just hearing him say it was a revelation. And a lot of times when you get, when you start to branch out and do things and you want to brand, you never know where inspiration comes from. Like it could hit you in your sleep. It could be something from your past. It could be something you're watching currently. And you never know where it comes from. But with all the kind of the regular podcast, the regular interview stuff going on, let's get into kind of why we both do what we do. And that's the Baltimore Ravens. So I got a few questions we're going to run through and we'll chop it up and go back and forth. But
all right.
What were your expectations before the season started for the Baltimore Ravens?
Listen, man, I said the floor was 13 wins. That was the floor. And the reason why I said it is literally and only because of Lamar Jackson. He changes the way a team can play football. And I've said this on my channel before. Football was not made for 11 on 11 football. That's not the way football was created to be played. It was made to that the defense would have one player free, right, to help out. So it balanced itself out for offense versus defense. When Lamar Jackson does what he does, he's so special. You play 11 on 11. So now the offense always has the number game. So me going into this year, I'm thinking, okay, there's no way that the Ravens would have not learned from their mistakes. You know where I'm coming from? I'm sitting there like, there's no way. So, of course, they're going to use Bateman more. I was very surprised when they traded Hollywood. I was like, ugh. But then I was like, okay, they got Isaiah Likely. And I said, okay. That was my key. I said, okay, if they're creative, they can always put them on the line and then split them out wide and create mismatch problems.
Yep.
Sir, they did it not once all year long. So I'm sitting there like, hey, my man, what's going on here? So I was very frustrated at the win thing this year because I was like, man, what a disappointment.
Right.
But here we are.
I definitely thought the same thing. I thought they, with all those tight ends, they would come out and maybe a 2 or even a 3 tight end set. And then when the other team brings their heavy package in, shift.
Yep.
Shift. And it didn't, like you said, I never saw it one time. Never.
Not once. I watched all the tape. Yep. The man stayed. He played most of the games on the bench. Yo, my God. Yo, but nah, man, it's not right, man.
Good flashbacks. Sing says Greg Roman isn't that smart. Hey, we've seen that. We've seen it. There's a ton of things that he did not do that even average guys like myself at the high school level says he should have done. But he got paid.
Coach, Madden players, people that play video games for a living could have did a better job of calling most of our games. Because think about it, most of our games were us shooting ourselves in the foot, not playing star players, putting players in the best position possible, going away from the run when the run is working, going away from the pass when the pass is working. So you're trying to tell me, listen, I'm Jamaican, and we have an old saying, what you give them for breakfast, you give them for lunch, and you give them for dinner. That means if it's working, you kill them with it until they stop it. That's what made Bill Belichick so great in the Patriot world.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Man, flashbacks, man, it just hurts my heart, my soul.
With that Belichick, if you let him run the ball, he won't. They won a game throwing the ball 3 times this year.
3.
Or was it last year?
Last year, 3 times against was it Green Bay?
Yeah, I don't remember who it was.
No. It was no. It was on Bills. I think it was Bills.
Mm-hmm.
It was
3
the Bills
pass attempts, and they won the game.
And they won,
which is
in the snow.
So, what you think about Lamar, man? What you think about what's going on?
Look, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I want the man to stay here in Baltimore. I think that's very selfish of me to think that. But here's the thing. What he does, he resonates more with the people. It's very rare that you see an athlete resonate with the fans itself and also be a special talent. A lot of time and exciting. Right. He's a triple threat. A lot of times you get guys that are very good, but they're not exciting. They're winning games, so they're excited that, oh, we're winning games, but you're not going to the game to actually see them be great. People turn on the tube. Imagine, remember 2019, the game where we played the Jets. Everybody watched. It was the most watched Jets game in like 12 years. And it was a blowout. The only reason people kept watching was because that man named Lamar Demetrius Jackson. So I want him to stay. I want him to be here. I want him to grow here. I want him to win here because it will mean more and it will be so monumental for his legacy, especially what he's went through coming into the league so far.
Love it. The MVP season, which is the season he actually started. The funny thing is the movie theaters here, the AMC, they started showing the national games in the theater, and luckily we played Miami that week, and so it was a regular TV game for us. So I went to my Sunday meeting where I conducted the meeting with the high school team. I rushed out of the meeting at like 12:55, made it to AMC at like 1:10, and got to watch that entire game like in a movie theater. It was one person in there, me.
Jeez.
But to see a football game in a movie theater was crazy. And for Hollywood and Lamar to go off, that set up for what was going to happen the rest of 2019, which was a crazy year other than one play, the interception in the playoffs.
You want me to tell you something that's so sick that a lot of people don't? There were plays, if you actually go back and watch film and tape, that even though we were running the ball like exponentially well, probably the greatest rushing attack ever in the history of the NFL, there were plays where people, if you looked at it, that could run wide open and they didn't call it because they were so like, we are going to run the ball. Yeah. And that's crazy to me. They left points on the field. Remember, we were blowing people out. 2-3 touchdowns. Yeah. Imagine you going back and watching tape and saying, hold on, wait. What's that tight end supposed to be doing? He can go that way? Oh, and they didn't call it? That would have been a touchdown right there. So it's just mind-boggling just how special that season is.
He had so much set in his – they had so much set in their ways where it's going to be like this, the way we want it and when we want it, that they just didn't even evolve. Like, they could have built on that season so much and had an even more explosive 2020.
That's what we've been saying. I got into an argument with somebody, or let's say a debate, and I said the Ravens have no excuse. The reason why is because usually when you get running quarterbacks, right, or quarterbacks that with athleticism, i.e. Cam Newton, i.e. Lamar Jackson, I feel Lamar Jackson's better than Cam. Teams rarely build the team around them like they would a pocket quarterback. You get where I'm coming from?
Yep.
And this year with the Eagles, showing the blueprint, just give them weapons because common sense would tell you you have the numbers, right? One-on-one in the outside all game. Wow. A.J. Brown, who was barely getting 1,000 yards a season, even though we knew how special he was because Ryan Tannehill was his quarterback, right? And they were running it all the time with Derrick Henry. He goes to a person who they say cannot throw the ball, who is a fullback, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden has his best year and on the trip to the Super Bowl with the most unstoppable offense so far consistently this entire year. Even though the Chiefs had the overall number one, we already knew where the most unstoppable offense in the league was.
And what I think the Eagles did was, like you said, with A.J. Brown's numbers, he had, 1,500 yards?
Yeah.
Then you double that with Devontae with almost 1,200. Then they had a running back with 1,200.
And tight end.
And tight end Goddard. And I think Hurts had right around 6 or 7, but he had like 19 TDs. and all they did was they gave him weapons. And so in the beginning of the game, when you focus on the run, he threw to the weapons. Then when you adjusted and went to too high, they ran the ball. Easy. If you stop the regular run game, then you got to deal with Hurts. It was a process every game. We're going to throw outside, then you're going to go to too high, and we're going to run with the running back. Then if you stop that, then we're going to let Jalen Hurts run.
Honestly, let's be real, coach. You coach this game, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a quarterback that is the fastest player on the field and they're playing too high on you, that means both safeties are way off the line of scrimmage, right? How do you stop that guy? If he has weapons, how do you game plan for that?
He only can beat himself by making mistakes.
Thank you. And these are guys that are paid hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars to know that.
Yep.
And they refuse to do. Man, look at here, bro. We need more people fired. Please.
The scheme is easy. Their thing is getting Jimmys and Joes. The Eagles have Jimmys and Joes.
Look at the 49ers.
Yep.
Oh, my God.
I had an argument with the guy that was a 49er fan on the other channel.
Yeah.
He was mad because I said Shanahan made it easy for Brock Purdy. He wanted to give Brock Purdy all this praise. I'm like, no. Shanahan schemes that stuff open. He could, I ain't gonna say me, a fairly athletic younger guy could run that offense if he had a solid arm. Yeah. Because Deebo Samuel gets wide open. And because of their run game, the other receiver, I forget his name, Ayuk gets wide open. George Kittle is a monster. And I didn't even mention C-Mac.
all the weapons that you just named, and with everything that team has, and they still added a top 2, top 3 running back in the league to a team that has no problem running the ball.
Right.
And we're looking at ourselves in Baltimore, and they're just like, don't worry. We got Lamar. He'll save the day. Right. He has a cape. It's like, bro, it's so unfair.
I want a guy to come in here and just forget that Lamar can run.
Thank you.
Game plan for him like he's not the runner. And then let his legs be extra.
Listen, Lamar Jackson, with how dynamic he is, because we're not just talking about straight line speed or side to side line speed. He has wiggle. Yep. He moves like a scat back, like a Barry Sanders type guy.
Yep.
You know where I'm coming from? He could walk into a season and not have one run play call from him. He could still put up 800 rushing yards.
Exactly. And that's what I want for him. I want his running yards to come on drop back passes. He drop back, nobody's open. Boom, I take off.
Let Dobbins carry. We got Dobbins. Dobbins is, imagine a running back looking at you saying, Coach, please, just please put me in. And he's, every time they give him the ball, special. No, JK. You sit on the bench.
Right.
You take your time. We got this. We are the ones that know how to use you.
I think he never had over 13 carries other than one game.
Never. That's preposterous.
It brings me back to Hollywood. What's the point of having soldiers if you're not going to use them?
You know what's crazy? We were mad at Hollywood.
I ain't gonna lie, I was too.
He was behind the scenes, giving us a peek behind the curtain, and we were mad at him for it.
Yep.
Because you know why? Another reason why? Because we're not used to offensive production at that level in Baltimore.
Right.
We're always so used to, we're going to churn out yards on the ground. We're going to chew up the clock, and our defense is going to spit out the opposing offense. That's just the way that we've been. And then if we don't score, kick the ball, either for field position or kick the field goal. And think about it. That's literally what we've been doing for 20 plus years, being Raven fans consistently, I might add. So now you add a guy that could score on a win by himself. He could just, a play will break down, boom, he hits his head on the goalpost, right? Then you get a running back who is literally looking like the son of Ray Rice. You don't use him?
Yep.
You get Likely, who looks like when you give him a chance, ba-ba-bam, he's your best yak guy, ba-ba-bam, that's all he's doing, ba-ba-bam, all day.
Yep.
You don't use him? And you expect us to be cool with that?
It's crazy.
Sickening.
But I thought about something when you said something about the 20 years. If you watch the Bullies of Baltimore, the little 30 for 30 that came out the other day, that's the same mentality. The same mentality that they had going into it is, okay, we're just going to run this ball and play defense. It's 22 years later. The mentality hasn't changed.
Not a lick.
Hasn't changed, which is nuts to me because the game has changed.
Here's the thing, and I've said this a lot of times. If the rules were the same, right, I'd have no problem with it. Run the air out of the ball. Go right ahead. Punch them in the face, right? The NFL has made concerted effort to make sure that you cannot stop an opposing offense consistently.
Right.
You cannot punch them in the face consistently. They are going to give you penalties and then kick out the players doing so. We have seen players make perfect form tackles on receivers, on tight ends, on quarterbacks, and they've personal foul, roughing. It's so if the NFL put rules to establish more of a passing game so that they can garner more money, why are you not noticing that? Even if you can run the ball effectively, you don't marry the run with the pass equally.
Right.
You know where I'm coming from? Like we know we can run the ball all game long, right? Yeah. So your play action game isn't the best in the league.
Should be deadly.
You remember the play action pass that used to happen where Tennessee killed us with? And you're telling me you didn't even make you didn't even make use of that? And you call yourself coaches?
Listening to you say this and thinking back to it, and we talked about Madden a minute ago. And I remember when I used to play with the Ravens, I would run the ball with Ray Rice. And then when I would look out there and see a corner up on Torrey Smith, play action. That was all I did. Because I put it together when you mentioned Madden. I'm like, well, that's what I used to do. I would run with Ray Rice and, look out there and see a one-on-one with Torrey Smith. Boom, throw it over top.
Yeah.
Simple.
Madden is simulation at this point. It's football simulation. Why are we like? I don't understand why people get mad. Like, oh, you Madden players think you know. Think about all year, the Ravens media championing that foolishness that we were seeing Sunday in and Sunday out, saying it was Lamar's fault. And then when Lamar goes down, even though we're leading the AFC North and we're a game out of leading the entire AFC. Isn't that reminiscent of last year?
Yep.
All of the problems, and this year they couldn't blame it on injuries. All of the problems that us guys, us fans, us people covering this, content creators, at the bottom of the bar was correct.
End of the bar.
And now, exactly. And we're the one paying the bill. And now you're seeing the same people that was saying, oh, you know what you're talking about, you're Lamar lovers. Now you're seeing them backstepping, putting it all the way back. No, bro. No. You stick with what you've been saying. You stick with what you've been saying. You were wrong. And none of them.
Don't come down here to the end of the bar with us.
Don't. You ain't getting no drinks down here. You ain't getting no drinks down here. Your cup is empty. Barkeep. He's cut off.
Yep. One person comes to mind, but I ain't gonna call his name. So,
you know who it is.
Yeah, bald headed guy. All right, let's move on. And that was a great conversation, right there. I like that. And you can't say Lamar. Okay. What person on offense impressed you the most this year? Because everybody's answer will probably be Lamar. I was assuming. Oh, he said that's quiet.
I'm gonna be real with you. The only person that I enjoyed watching on offense outside of Lamar was Likely.
Got you.
I'm gonna be real with you. Nobody impressed me. Likely. Do you know who he reminds me of? And it's a receiver. Do you remember the receiver that the Saints used to have before Mike Thomas? Big guy. He was bald, kind of big ears. You know, I think it was his name, Michael too.
I want to say it was, but I'm not sure. But I know who you're talking about because I like the Saints.
Yes.
They're my local team.
Yes, he was just very consistent. 1,000 yards every season, stuff like that.
Number 19. No, it's Colson. Marcus Colson.
Marcus Colson. Yeah, okay. Colson. Yes. Mm-hmm. That's what he reminds me, but from the tight end position. Mm-hmm. And when I watch, even when you're watching filming him off the line of scrimmage, he dips his shoulders so far down, like a wide receiver getting off of press. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, bro, they're not using this man. And it goes back to the adage that Harbaugh doesn't like to play what? Rookies.
Yep.
So he was willing to lose games instead of having a rookie have some shine. And when they finally gave him some shine, they had no other choice but to play him.
Because Mark was hurt.
Mm-hmm. And we were trash, right? What did he do?
He went off.
He looked like the same player that was balling in preseason.
Yep.
And he was the most excited because even Justin Tucker had some bad games this season.
Mm-hmm.
So there was nobody else in the offense that I was impressed with at all. It was Likely and Lamar.
For me personally, it was Linderbaum. I liked Likely, but it was Linderbaum because I didn't like Linderbaum. I didn't like the pick at first because I didn't think he could. I didn't think he was a bad player. I just didn't think he could fit what we did. And the only taste of credit I will give Roman is we did start using some more zone stuff, which Linderbaum is excellent at. I'll give him, I'll give him that little bit of credit, but and then toward the end he started holding his own in gap schemes. But you saw it. What I felt bad about Linderbaum actually happened in the Bengals game. He got an elite 0 or 1 technique. And that elite guy whooped his butt, which was Reader. But I don't think it'll happen again because he'll have a whole season of NFL off season, and he probably can afford to get nutritionists and people. He can maximize
his body. Yeah.
I don't think that'll happen to him no more because his technique on zone stuff is awesome. And then his wrestling background is it kind of helps him with those bigger guys too.
I'm gonna be real with you. I liked Linderbaum. I wasn't super impressed by him. I kind of felt like in pass pro he was a hindrance.
Mm-hmm.
I thought,
I'll give you that.
Yeah, and that was my biggest problem with the line. Everyone's saying that, oh no, we were top. No, watch tape. They were putting in what's his name to be a sixth lineman
early in the year.
Yeah, they were putting in 6 linemen because we couldn't block anybody on the passing schemes, and we put out everybody to go out. We're getting killed, murdered with 3.
Oh, you're talking about Ricard. They was putting Ricard in there.
Ricard to block off. So it's like, the adulation everyone's getting, everyone's talking big about these players, and saying, oh, the line. I'm like, no, the line is not that great. Mm-hmm. The line can one day probably be great because remember, Ronnie's coming off injury. Right. We knew he wasn't going to be what he was. He needs at least a year to get under his belt. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't impressed by the line at all. And us being unable to run the ball consistently and us being unable to pass pro when they knew we were passing. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on now. It's like there's nothing else to say.
Gotcha. And defensively, who would impress you over there? You got all those guys to pick from. No cutting one person off.
You know who I was impressed by? Oh my God, his name just hit me. The pass rusher. Our line guy. Huh?
The older or younger guy?
Older.
Bowser or
not Bowser.
Yodel. We called him Yodel. They should have got the bonus and messed it up. I can't think. Houston. That's what it is.
Houston.
Justin Houston.
I was very impressed by Houston. The reason why I was impressed because we didn't even think he was coming back this year.
Right.
He comes through and absolutely has amazing defensive production the first 9 or 10 games. Mm-hmm. And then he tails off some, right? Mm-hmm. And finally, when he's supposed to get that 10 sack, you already know Owe, who hasn't showed up almost the entire year, comes to take it away from him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was very, very impressed with his grit. Because remember, at the beginning of the season, we had 2 pass rushers, him and Owe. That's all. And his old body, he was just like, oh, he hit that, oh. You know what I'm saying? You know that old thing when they grunt and they said, we going to work, young boy, let's go. And everyone's making excuses for Owe, like, oh, he's tired. You didn't see that from Houston.
Nope.
No, like he drank from the fountain of youth, and it was just like, let's go. It's time to work. And I respected that.
Yep.
That's right. If anything reminded me of old school Ravens football this year was him.
Mm-hmm. That grit, that makes a lot of sense. He's like an old country boy that don't really care about no excuses. We gonna go out there and get it done.
Yeah,
and he did. That
I love that
on his older body until reinforcements came.
Yeah, and hold on, and our team, knowing we had 2 pass rushers, put out a veteran and Owe and said, "Y'all can't read the load." Yo, oh my God! Like I be watching them sometimes. I'd be like, y'all despicable. Like imagine that they knew what they were doing. This whole year to me was a travesty.
Think about this. We had those guys that got hurt at the end. So you knew coming in, you had 3 guys that could play edge. You had at 2 actually because you didn't know he was coming back. You had rest his soul. You had Ferguson.
Yeah, and
you had Owe.
Yeah.
Then when Houston decides he come back, you got 3. So still no moves were made, and sadly Ferguson passed, and you still didn't really go get nobody till the middle of the year. I don't know if you noticed or not, but early in the year, guess who else was in that outside linebacker rotation?
Who?
40. Malik Harrison lined up on the edge a lot early in the year. Malik lined up a lot on the edge. And they used him as a pass rusher. Again, luckily we picked up Big Reg's favorite person, JPP. JPP had a great first 3 or 4 games.
Yes,
and I think he kind of tailed off, but he came in and gave us what we needed. Then Bowser came back. Then we started to have a nice little rotation. The interior guys started to work, and it kind of worked itself out, but still.
there's no reason for them not to bring back both of them, in my estimation. There's none. Because what you need fresh bodies.
Mm-hmm.
You have the older guys that are extremely seasoned.
Yeah.
I'm talking grandma potluck seasoned, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of it, they're so skilled. The man have 2 fingers on one hand. He go like this, like this, and he still be catching the ball, catching the ball, and everything perfectly, man. And that what they bring and what they could teach the youngins, all while doing it at like veteran minimums, 2 million, 3 million, and stuff like that. There is no excuse for us not to have them next year.
Yeah, and all they need to do is get off that don't play rookies or young guys stuff. Let them young guys and rookies play early so the veterans can be there down the stretch when we really, really need them.
Exactly.
Use them rookies for them young legs.
Yeah, why burn off the last bit of the treads at the beginning of the season? The Ravens always start off the year good. Mm-hmm. We always start off the year good. For a team that prides itself on running the ball, usually you start off the year slow, and then when things start getting more cold, weather starts having implications on the game.
Right.
Then all of a sudden you start to control games with your vicious power running. Not the Ravens. No. Not us. Oh no. Oh man, it's a sin. It's a sin.
We're backwards.
Derek Wolf was right. Like, yo, the man wasn't lying. And I had to apologize to that man because I listen, you seen what I had posted.
Mm-hmm.
I said this man was out there with Bigfoot's cousin on his back, tracking through dirt, mud, mountainside like he was God of War. You know what I'm saying? Kratos.
Right.
And Kratos. And this man said, no, I was injured and they knew.
Mm-hmm.
They knew it was wrong, and they kept putting me out there, and they knew about the other injury that I had, and then they misdiagnosed it, and I got even further injured.
Yep, and with you, I think she came to you. His wife came with the receipt.
Yeah, his wife came with the receipt. What? Mm-hmm. Listen, you know how good a woman that is. Where your woman, you don't even got to say nothing as a man. Your woman just comes with all the shopping receipts from Winn-Dixie and just hit you in the face with it. Bam, take that one. Yeah, 5.5, that's off. BOGO, right in the face. Like, bro, nah, man. Listen, I had to just say, I just shut my mouth. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. Oops. Yeah. And the worst part about John Harbaugh and them is that they heard about it and was like, who cares?
Right.
Nothing.
Right. And Steve Sanders is still the ops. I got a video called Steve Sanders the ops, and he's still. I don't know how that man has a job. He has to be part cat.
Harbaugh, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. In a world where you usually cannot trust people, Harbaugh is the best friend that you would want in the world. I mean, think about how many people did you go to college with, high school with? Did you ever know somebody that says, no matter where I go, as long as I have success, you have success, we have success? Right. Like, bruh. And he does it consistently. He doesn't care if they're horrible. He doesn't even care if they even know the job. He said, you can learn it on the way.
Right.
You can learn on the job.
Make it till you make it.
Like, my gosh, talk about a friend, but horrible. Absolutely horrible. And I think the most glaring thing about Harbaugh that bothers me is he's openly arrogant. I don't mind you to be prideful. I don't even mind you to be confident in yourself, because as an athlete or a coach, you have to have both, right? You have to have some arrogance to you, and you have some pride about yourself, right? And you have to be able to carry yourself a certain way. Facts. With Harbaugh, he's like, if we lose, I'm still John Harbaugh. Right. Super Bowl winning coach. The only coach better than me is Bill Belichick. Like, and that to me is part of the detriment of the team.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Next. We got we got one more question. Right. What do the Ravens need to do besides re-signing Lamar going forward to be successful next year?
Pray. Like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a Christian on your shoulders openly. Pray. Absolutely drop to your knees and just, God, help us. Because look, here's my thing, right? And I've said this to people. We need an OC.
Mm-hmm.
We need an outside threat outside of Bateman, right?
Mm-hmm.
That could pull safety help,
Right.
And we need to re-sign Lamar.
Yep.
Nothing works until we sign Lamar. And even if we get a dynamic OC that wants to throw the ball everywhere and take advantage of mismatches, John Harbaugh is still our head coach.
Yep.
And he still wants to run the ball, regardless of what he has on the outside.
Flipping the headsets down. Run the ball, coach.
That's him and his brother. You seen it in Michigan. like that's what they do. And even there was a clip. I don't know if you've seen it when Jim Harbaugh and then we're losing, and it kind of panned to his father during the broadcast, and his father was mouthing, "What are you doing?" That's us every Sunday. So until Harbaugh either has a change of heart, his seat becomes a little warm, we're still gonna have some problems. Even if we get Bieniemy, even if we get the outside receiver, even if we sign Lamar, he is still there. And he is a man that he would rather lose his way than to win another person's way.
And it's crazy. That's as a 9, as a 10, as a 11. That's ass backwards is what it is.
Very much so.
But those are 3 good points. Signing Lamar, I think the first domino has to be Lamar. I don't think no OC that we want or that will make a huge difference is going to agree to come unless there's unless Lamar is going to be there.
Exactly.
And no disrespect to Snoop. Snoop's got his quote unquote Pro Bowl thing, but
Snoop's not Lamar.
Exactly. He plays like Lamar, but he like you talked about wiggle early in the year. Mm-hmm. Snoop may be a step or 2 slower than Lamar, but don't wiggle. No wiggle. The decision making is not the same. The arm strength is not the same.
Yes, I was just about to say that.
All it is he's a brother that can run and throw on a way lower level than Lamar.
Everybody sees him and says, "Oh, he's dark skinned. He has braids. It's Lamar." It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. Snoop isn't him, and we know what Lamar brings, and everything. Nothing works without him. That's the scary part, right? Nobody's going to take a job without a QB anymore because we've seen talented teams be derailed simply because of the quarterback position.
Look at Arizona. Nobody wants that job. Nobody wants that job. And I think Cliff was happy to get the freak out of there.
You know why? Because here's the thing. Kyler is an exceptional quarterback. Mm-hmm. The problem is, by being an exceptional quarterback, he also has an exceptional ego.
Yes.
And he hasn't been checked. Yep. And nobody has been able to check him properly. Mm-hmm. You see, you're a coach. You know when you have a talented player, right? And you do give him some leeway because you're like, look, you're the star. But there's times when you got to put your foot down and say, look, I'm the coach. We're doing it this way, right? Kyler is on national television saying what to his coach? Calm the blank down.
Yeah.
Right? And he said it more than once.
Yeah. Kyler's
screaming
never lost.
At him.
Kyler's never lost. High school, college, he's never lost, and he don't know how to handle it.
No.
Even when Nuke tried to talk to him and just have a conversation, he's like, "Bro, I'm gonna get you the ball. Shut the fuck up. I'm gonna get you the ball." I'm like, and if I'm Hobson, that's when the foot in the ass moment needs to happen because I'm the dude on this team, not you.
And that's where once again Lamar shines so much over his contemporaries. The only quarterback that I put over him is Patrick. Mm-hmm. Patrick's accolades speak for themselves. Lamar is coachable, talented, team-oriented, and generational.
Yep.
And to make it even greater, great with the fans and a hero to the kids. You can't ask for nothing more. My God, Bashadi, give the man his money.
And we ain't heard nothing outside, like out negative, in the outside world.
No, they have to actually take whatever they see and try to twist it
Yep.
or warp it to make it negative. Oh, he's outside with kids playing on a court. How dare he?
Right.
And you'll see his contemporaries doing it and say, what a good guy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
But it is what it is, man. I appreciate you for coming through, spending a little time with me. This is the first of what I hope to be, many episodes. And whenever you want me to reciprocate, just ask and I'll be there.
On your channel. Man. Listen, man. Y'all wait. Y'all just wait. We got something going there, man. I got something working out.
So let the people know that don't follow you, where they can find you on social media and on YouTube.
You can find me at the Wonderkin Show on YouTube and the Wonderkin Show or Nitro_Quantum on Twitter. We're going to be expanding, but those are the two main places where I reside.
Gotcha. and if you don't want to move off yet, his channel is linked in the not the comment section, in the description. So if you want to do that when we finish, just hit that, go to the description, hit it, and it'll take you right to his channel. Make sure you sub and make sure you go like the videos, watch the videos, because this is just a snippet of what you would get with Nitro. Just a snippet. And the thing is with Nitro is, he's kind of animated, which is fine. It's been entertaining. But this is an intelligent brother. And I told him before we started that even though, it's a lot of stuff he say is funny, you can tell this is an intelligent young man because of the way he articulates his points, in spaces or on Twitter. When you hear him talk, you can understand that this dude knows what he's talking about, and he can put words together, better than most. And then he can put words together to mess with other people, and they don't even know they're being messed with. That's what's funny.
Hey man, no, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. It was an honor being on your show. So many of you guys have reached out, trying to help me out. And listen, man, lunch break hot take, salute, amazing. Raven, salute, amazing. Sip to Tally Films, amazing. Salute, you guys. Come on now, man. Y'all guys have been nothing but ingratiating towards me, and I have nothing but respect for each one of you brothers. So big ups.
We want to grow together. I'm gonna take this term from Draymond. We are the new media. We're the new media, and we're gonna give you as limited as access we have to stuff like the guys do. We're gonna give you as much as we can, as accurate as we can, and as unbiased as we can. And I appreciate everybody for coming through, man. I enjoyed the Nitro. You know how the outro goes. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with us tonight and not just me.
Yes, sir.
So I appreciate y'all, man. And make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Share this on Twitter. If you're in some kind of Facebook group, share it there. That way everybody can get it out. And those that don't know about Nitro, we'll know about Nitro. And again, I appreciate you for shouting out the rest of the crew. It's a couple more in there, but we'll get to everybody when we get to everybody. I appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Salute.
No problem. Hey, hold on one second.